not gonna ask you again. Give me that goddamn video game.
What's up, my dudes? Void Moon here. And I already know the title is a little melodramatic, but I'm just a little salty about the changes, or lack of changes, for Dark Knight in Endwalker, because it's been on and off my favorite class, and usually I always play Paladin and Dark Knights, or Death Knights, Shadow Knights, whatever they are in a game, but I lean towards more of the leeching style of a Death Knight kind of class, which, first of all, I would just like to talk about that, which is the weirdest thing Final Fantasy XIV does, in my opinion, is every other MMO out there that has ever existed, whether it be EverQuest, Age of Conan, WoW, like all these MMOs and games, the Dark Knight is always a leech class. They use dark magics to like enhance their blades and stuff, and then like draw on like either the blood or like dark energies of their masters or whatever to leech the life out of people. So they don't have heals like a paladin would, and they're not as tanky as a warrior would be, but every hit that they do, they leech life. That's what's weird about Final Fantasy XIV. The warrior does that. What? It makes no sense. The Dark Knight should be the leech class. Warrior should be like super straight up, just doing a ton of just straight up physical damage, mitigating a ton of physical damage. Paladin, a little bit weaker than warrior, but has self heals and can party heal. Dark Knight can leech life, and then Gunbreaker, of course, is like the DPS, not as tanky as the other guys, but does way more DPS. That's how it should be, in my opinion. But let's just not get into that, because that's just not how Final Fantasy XIV is built, and I'm okay with that. They shot their shot, they did what they did, that's how the game is. So let's talk about what is going on in the game and what is changing in Shadowbringers, or Endwalker from Shadowbringers, and what I am disappointed in. And just to let you know, I know that the video is of my summoner and not my Dark Knight or Paladin being played, because I'm leveling my summoner right now and I only have so much time to play, so I'm just gonna like put some shots of my summoner in here because it's fun. I can't wait for the updates to that. Anyways, first off, Dark Knight is basically just a knockoff warrior without the leech now. Delirium is literally in a release without any of the bells or whistles. Even when they changed changed in a release, they changed Delirium in the exact same way. And it sucks to be. It's basically a copy and paste class. Dark Knight, don't get me wrong, looks cool. They have some of the coolest looking armor in the game, and I love it. But they literally just play almost exactly like a warrior, and it's been that way for a while, and it's annoying. And I was hoping they would change it. Like, if you look back in Heavensward, like Heavensward, you actually had to balance your mana, and you had more abilities to use, and it was awesome. But then they changed it, dumbed it down, and now you're basically just a blue DPS, and it's really sad. But I get why they did it, because tanks in MMOs are usually the least played classes, followed by obviously healers, and then DPS. If a MMO has supports, which I know a lot of you won't even know that, yes, that there was points in time where MMOs had support classes or pooler classes, like in Final Fantasy XI. Even they had bards and what are those, the guys with the guns, corsairs, and they basically didn't do any damage or anything. They pooled and did lots of DPS, and they buffed the DPS of the other classes and jobs, and gave them mana regens and could sleep enemies and stuff like that. There used to be support classes, and Final Fantasy XIV kind of had that, in the sense that a bard and a machinist are supports and dancer, but not to the extent what they used to be. Like, they've been dumbed down so much, they're basically just DPS classes. Final Fantasy XIV devs has figured out that the supports just don't work in new MMOs, because everyone has to be within like 3% of each other's DPS, or people get salty. It's not enough that, so say like a bard will increase the entire raid's DPS by 5%, and they do 10% less DPS than everyone else. Sorry about that. But they increase everyone else's 5% by 5%. So, that's depending on the size of the group. Even let's just say it's 8 people. That's 8 times 5. That's 40%. So you should add that to the bard's DPS. He's actually bringing 40% minus the 10%. So 30% more DPS than everyone else. But people don't calculate it like that because it doesn't show up on the DPS meters. Sorry to go on a tangent, but yeah, there's no supports. God, I totally forgot where I was going. Anyways, let's about the Endwalker changes. It's really hard to balance Dark Knight because of the Blackest Night, and this has been the case since it was introduced at 70. It's a strong skill, a little awkward to use sometimes, and if it doesn't pop, then it's a huge waste. But it's really good for how the game plays in tanks, like tank busters and just timing when you know abilities are going to come in the dungeon. It can save you a lot of headaches, and it's a great ability. And it was the defining feature of Dark Knights until Endwalker. What's happening in Endwalker? Well, warriors are getting bloodwetting, and that's basically a big shield and heal. And Gunbreaker is getting Hearts of Conundrum, which is basically just like XCOG. Paladin has Holy Sheltron, which is, again, big mitigation and heal. And these are all upgrades for their already current 25%, 25-second mitigation. So similar to Blackest Night's 15-second cooldown. So basically all tanks are getting what the Dark Knight has, but just added on to what they already have, which is better self-heals and sustain. And I just don't understand why they are changing or adding these to the other classes when that was literally the only thing that you wanted a Dark Knight for. Dark Knight doesn't give anything else other than like a small buff or a small debuff to taking magic damage. Like, it's insane to me. And all you get with the Dark Knight in Endwalker is they're getting another Fire and Forget ability on top of their Shadow, and Abyssal Drain is getting a combo to it, which you don't ever even hardly use anyways. It's like on a 60-second cooldown. It's healing is garbage. Assaulted Earth, oh boy, it now targets around what you're targeting when you use it. We all used a macro for that anyway. Assaulted Earth is garbage. Carven Spit and Assaulted Earth are just negligible. So there's like the changes that they're getting, literally nothing. Like, they're gonna play exactly like they play in Shadowbringers, and they're just not getting all the cool stuff that all the other tanks are getting, which, you know, is funny because if you look at Endwalker, the main character or whatever is a paladin now, so it kind of reminds me a lot of Final Fantasy IV, where you had a Dark Knight that turned into a paladin. Sounds similar because that's what I'm doing. I was so excited when I went in to watch the last live letter, or not the last one, but the second to last one, and they were just telling us about all the stuff that was changing in Endwalker, and tanks came up. See this awesome paladin doing all these freaking moves, like the combo on top of Confiteor with the giant freaking swords coming down and stuff, and I was like, whoa, dude. And they're like, here's the Dark Knight changes. Nothing. And like, the internet is just, you know how Final Fantasy XIV peeps are. They're like really, you know, they're taking it on the chin, but you know, a lot of people aren't happy, including me. So yeah, I was planning on going into 14 with my Dark Knight, and that is not the case because Paladin is just looking too juicy. And like I said, I've played Paladin since 1.0 when it was still not a Paladin. It was the Gladiator, and when you actually had to have a button to raise your shield to block. That was fun times. And played Dark Knight since Heaven's Ward, and which Heaven's Ward was pretty fun with Dark Knight, but yeah, played both of them, mained both of them, and yeah, I don't think I'm gonna touch Dark Knight in Endwalker until the inevitable rework, because there's no way that they're gonna, hopefully, not gonna let Dark Knight stay in its current iteration. But yeah, that's all I wanted to do, is make this silly video. I know I haven't been uploading for a while, but I'm gonna start again. I've just been kind of taking a break, and yeah, I'm gonna start streaming again. every night at it would be what, 9 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Mountain, which is my time, and then it's like 5 a.m. GMT. I'll be on Twitch. Links in the description if any of you guys want to play with me. Like, I don't really know anyone in the game, so because I switched servers and stuff, and I don't know anyone. So if any of you play on Aether and want to group up or something, just let me know. But yeah, here's some other videos that you might like, and I will see you guys in the next video. Peace.